The alarm wailed through the night like a wounded animal, its metallic cry cutting across the prison yard and echoing through the dark valley. Sheriff Isaac Ward, roused from a shallow sleep, felt the vibration in his chest before his mind caught up. Prison breaks were supposed to be rare out here, tucked against the Appalachian ridges, but the siren carried a truth no one could ignore. Something had gone wrong inside Blackthorn Penitentiary. The first time Isaac Ward heard the siren, he thought it was just another test. Blackthorn's warden had a habit of running drills at ungodly hours, claiming routine built discipline. But then the phone rang. A real call, his deputy's voice tight and ragged. "Ward, we got a break. 2 gone. We need you down here." Isaac pulled on his boots without socks, the cold leather biting his skin. His wife, June, stirred in bed but said nothing. Silence had long settled in their marriage, like smoke that never left a room, only clung to its corners. The drive down the ridge was quiet, save for the gravel popping under his tires. Midnight had thickened into that dense, starless dark particular to the Appalachians, the kind that turned roads into tunnels. At the prison gates, floodlights slashed the yard, bleaching everything in sterile white. Guards clustered, muttering, jittery with adrenaline. Warden Cray met him at the fence line. His pale face gleamed with sweat, despite the night's chill. 2 men out, Keller and Ortiz. "Dangerous. We've locked the perimeter. But if they're in the woods..." "They'll vanish," Isaac finished, already eyeing the tree lean. Cray swallowed. "Brought in the dogs. You'll run point." Isaac didn't answer right away. He was tired, older than he liked to admit, and his knees barked with every change in weather. But he was the only one around here who trusted the K9’s like flesh and blood. His partner tonight was a German shepherd named Rook, big, scarred, loyal. A dog that had once taken a blade meant for Isaac and never faltered. The chain link clattered as Rook lunged forward, nose to the ground. The handler, a young deputy named Cole, handed the leash over. "He's hot already." Picked up Keller's scent at the fence. Isaac knelt, hand against Rook's neck, feeling the thrum of muscle. "Easy, boy. Let's work." The trail began clean. Fresh scuffs in the dirt where boots had slipped, snapped twigs along the ditch. Rook pulled hard, following it with single-minded force. Isaac kept his light low, letting the dark breathe around them, his ears tuned to the night chorus. Frogs, crickets, the hum of power lines. Then the forest edge loomed. Everyone expected the fugitives to vanish into that black tangle. The hills stretched for miles, riddled with hollows where a man could disappear for weeks. But Rook didn't turn into the woods. He stopped, whined low, then jerked his head sharply away from the trees toward the old service road that bent back toward town. Cole frowned. "That can't be right." Isaac crouched beside the dog, sweeping his beam across gravel. At first, nothing. Then faint impressions, not deep like boots and mud, but drag marks, like weight hauled unevenly. The kind of trail a man makes when he isn't running free, but struggling. Rook's ears pricked, body trembling, nose pressed to the ground. He growled. Isaac's gut clenched. "It's right," he said. They didn't go to the forest. They followed. The service road was quiet, its asphalt cracked like old bone. An abandoned truck sat rusting at the bend, windows busted. Isaac's beam skimmed the glass, caught a smear of something dark on the doorframe. He didn't say it out loud, but Cole saw it too. "Blood?" the deputy whispered. Isaac nodded once. The dog strained forward, dragging them past the truck, down the slope where blackberry thickets choked the ditch. Something metallic glimmered in the weeds. A broken shackle. Chain snapped like brittle wire. Cole swore under his breath. Jesus, they had help. Isaac didn't answer. He was listening. The night had a way of speaking to him, if he stood still long enough. And what he heard now wasn't the usual pulse of insects. It was heavier, lower, like breath. Somewhere ahead, he raised a hand to still Cole. Rook froze, hackle stiff. A figure moved at the edge of the light. Not Keller. Not Ortiz. Smaller, hunched. The glint of hair matted and wild. For a moment, Isaac thought it was a child. Then it bolted. Rook tore forward, leash burning Isaac's palm. Cole stumbled after them, cursing. The The figure darted into the brush, but too slow. Rook lunged, teeth snapping just shy as the shape slipped into a culvert pipe and vanished into black. Isaac shone his light inside. Empty. Just water trickling, the echo of something moving deeper underground. Cole's face was pale. That wasn't either of them. Isaac didn't answer. He was staring at the concrete lip of the pipe. Carved into it, crude and jagged, were letters scratched by desperate hands. Help U.S. By the time they dragged Rook back to the road, the prison yard lights were far behind, swallowed by the hills. Isaac looked at Cole, young, scared, still clinging procedure, and felt the weight of choice pressing in. He could report back, let the warden spin it, keep things neat, or he could follow the trail into the dark, wherever it led, and risk finding something worse than escaped inmates. Rook whined, nose pressed to the ground again. The dog wasn't confused. He knew where the scent was going, back toward town. And if Isaac was right, toward secrets buried deeper than any prison wall. The road back to town carried silence with it. Not the calm kind, but heavy, as though the earth itself held its breath. Isaac kept one hand on Rook's leash, the other on the beam of his flashlight, slicing the dark into fragments. Cole trailed a step behind, boots dragging, nerves eating at him like acid. The town of Briar Hollow wasn't much to look at, just a crooked stretch of Main Street with a diner, a hardware store, and a church whose bell hadn't rung in years. But at night, when the mountains wrapped it in shadow, it could feel like a place forgotten by God. They reached the outskirts near the feed mill, its tin roof silvering under the moon. Rook halted, nose pressing against the gravel. He pawed once, twice, then started tugging hard toward the mill's rear loading dock. Cole squinted. You telling me Keller and Ortiz double back here? For what chicken feed? Isaac didn't answer. He'd learned long ago not to second-guess a dog's nose. What Rook smelled was truth, even when the trail made no sense. The loading docks was rotted through, boards sagging under their weight. Isaac crouched, running the beam across the ground. There was again drag marks, faint but deliberate, as though someone had been hauled by force. He found a scrap of fabric, snagged on a nail. Prison gray. Cole muttered a curse. So they were dragged out, not running. Isaac pocketed the cloth. He said nothing, but inside his chest something twisted. Prisoners breaking out was bad enough. Prisoners being broken out. That meant help. That meant complicity. The mill doors hung open, yawning into blackness. Isaac lifted the latch, motioning Cole to stay low. They entered. The smell hit first, damp wood, rat droppings, and underneath it something coppery. Blood. Rook's growl rolled deep from his chest. The beam of the flashlight swept across shadows stacked high, burlap sacks, cracked barrels, rusted machinery. And then, on the concrete near the far wall, they saw it, marks. A handprint smeared in dark red, fingers splayed wide. Cole flinched. That's fresh. Hours old at most, Isaac said. His voice was steady, though his throat felt tight. He moved closer. That's when he noticed it wasn't just a handprint. It was a message, scrawled in quick strokes of blood across the wall. Not them. The letters wavered, uneven, a frantic warning. Cole's breathing quickened. What the hell does that mean? Not who. Rook barked once, sharp and sudden, spinning toward a set of stairs leading down into the sublevel. Isaac's gut nodded. The mill had an old storm cellar, half forgotten, often flooded. Stay sharp, Isaac said. They descended. The cellar air was colder, thick with mildew. The beam quivered across broken shelving, rusted tools, the skeleton of a furnace. Rook's nose pressed low, pulling them deeper until they reached a far corner, where the concrete had crumbled to reveal an old tunnel. Isaac's stomach dropped. The prison sat less than 2 miles away. During Prohibition, smugglers had carved passageways through the hills, secret veins that still ran beneath the town. Most had caved in decades ago. But here, one gaped wide, lined with damp earth, air pushing cold and stale like breath from an open crypt. Cole shook his head violently. You gotta be kidding me. They used this? All this time, and nobody. Quiet, Isaac snapped. He tilted his light inside. The tunnel bore marks, scuffs, drags, faint smears of red, and farther in, the echo of something scuttling. Rook lunged forward, but Isaac held the leash tight. His instincts screamed, "Don't go in blind." Then, from within the tunnel, came a sound that froze them both. Not footsteps, not rats. A voice, faint rasping. "Please." Cole stiffened. "Did you hear?" "Shut up," Isaac hissed. He crouched at the mouth. "Who's there?" No answer. Just shallow breathing, uneven, retreating deeper into black. Rook barked again, ears pinned, muscles rigid. His tail wasn't wagging. This wasn't the bark of pursuit. It was warning. Cole swore, running a hand through his hair. "War, this is bad. Real bad. We should call backup. Seal this, wait for daylight." "You go ahead," Isaac said, surprising even himself with the steel in his tone. "I'm not leaving whoever's in there." Cole hesitated, torn between protocol and fear. His jaw worked. Finally he muttered, "God damn it," and followed. They entered. The tunnel swallowed them. The light barely cut 10 feet ahead, earth walls pressing close. Moisture dripped from above, pattering like a slow clock. Rook pulled hard, every muscle taut. After 50 yards, they found something. A shoe. Worn, laces snapped, prison issue. But stuffed inside it was something worse. A child's ribbon, pink, smeared with dirt. Cole's face blanched. What the hell is this?" Isaac touched the ribbon gingerly, his throat tightening. It was out of place, horrifyingly so. Prison breaks didn't involve children. The trail bent left, deeper underground. That's when the tunnel widened into a chamber. And they saw them. 2 figures, bound and gagged, slumped against the wall. Prison uniforms. Keller and Ortiz. Cole's jaw dropped. Jesus Christ, they didn't escape. They were taken. Isaac moved closer, heart hammering. Both men were barely conscious, faces swollen, skin slick with blood. Ortiz lifted his head weakly, eyes rolling toward Isaac. His muffled voice rasped through the gag. "Not us." The same words scrawled in blood upstairs. Isaac ripped the gag free. "Who? Who did this?" Ortiz coughed, choking on phlegm. His lips trembled, forming one word. "Hunter." A crash echoed behind them. Something moving fast in the tunnel. Rook spun, teeth bared. Isaac swung his light just in time to catch a fleeting shadow. A figure darting away, impossibly quick. Cole raised his pistol. "God damn it! There's someone else down here." Isaac grabbed Keller's arm, dragging him upright. "We can't carry both out without help." Ortiz clawed weakly at his sleeve, panic flashing in his eyes. "No, don't leave." But Isaac knew the truth. The tunnel was closing in, danger pressing from both directions. He had seconds to choose. Save one, risk both, or leave them. Cole's voice cracked. "Ward, what do we do?" Isaac stared at Keller's battered face, then Ortiz's pleading eyes. The moral weight pressed down like stone. He thought of June, silent in their bed. Thought of the town, already fractured by secrets. Then he made his choice. He cut Ortiz's bonds, yanked him to his feet, and hauled him forward. Keller stayed slumped in the dark, eyes wide with betrayal. Cole swore furiously. "You left him, Jesus, Ward, you left him." But Isaac's grip was iron. "Move." Rook barked, driving them forward through the tunnel. They burst back into the mill cellar, lungs burning. Ortiz collapsed, wheezing, gag dangling for his neck. Isaac shoved him against the wall. "Talk," he demanded. "Who is Hunter?" Ortiz coughed blood, eyes wide with terror. "Not a man," he croaked. "Not anymore. He lives under. Takes what he wants. Guards know. They let him." Cole's face twisted. "That's insane. Some boogeyman story." Ortiz clutched Isaac's sleeve. "You don't understand. He doesn't let anyone go. If you found me..." His eyes darted toward the tunnel. "He'll come for you too." The cellar air seemed to close in, pressing against their skin. Isaac felt it then, the faint vibration underfoot, like something moving below. Rook snarled, teeth bared, body rigid with primal fear. Cole backed toward the stairs. "We need to get out of here, Ward. Now." But Isaac wasn't listening. His mind reeled with Ortiz's words, the bloody warning, the trail leading not into freedom but deeper into something foul, rooted in the town itself. Hunter, the name wasn't new. Isaac had heard it whispered once, years ago, in the context of disappearances that never made the papers. A vagrant gone missing, a child wandering off, stories dismissed as accidents, tragedies of a poor town clinging to old superstitions. But now, with Ortiz trembling before him, the name felt carved into marrow of the valley. Rook growled again, louder this time, and from the darkness of the tunnel came a sound Isaac would never forget. A laugh, low, guttural, not quite human. Cole's hand shook on his gun. Ward, what the hell is down there? Isaac stared into the black mouth of the tunnel, pulse hammering. Something far worse than two escaped prisoners. Something that had been here long before the prison, and something that now had their scent. The laugh lingered in the tunnel like smoke, curling through the cellar and wrapping icy fingers around Isaac's spine. Rook's snarls filled the silence, sharp and primal, his body rigid against the leash. Cole's gun shook in his hand, the muzzle flickering between the dark, and Ortiz slumped against the wall. Ward, Cole whispered, voice fraying at the edges. That's not a man. Isaac said nothing. He kept his light steady on the black mouth of the tunnel, his pulse hammering so hard he felt it in his teeth. Ortiz whimpered, pressing himself against the wall, muttering a prayer in broken gasps. Then the laugh faded. Silence again. Cole's breath rattled. We need to get the hell out of here. Isaac nodded once, yanking Ortiz to his feet. Upstairs. Now! They climbed fast, with groaning beneath their weight. Every step felt watched, every shadow too thick. When they burst into the night, Isaac sucked in air like he'd been drowning. The mill loomed behind them, its windows black pit staring into nothing. Rook circled, restless, nose pressed to ground. He wanted to keep trailing, to finish what he'd started, but Isaac gripped the leash tighter. For once, he wasn't sure he wanted to know where it led. Back at the sheriff's office, the fluorescent lights hummed overhead, harsh and sterile. Isaac sat across from Ortiz, whose face sagged with exhaustion. Blood had crusted at the corner of his mouth. Cole paced like a caged animal, still muttering curses. You're telling me, Cole said, voice rising, that the goddamn prison guard knew about whatever the hell that thing was, that they let it take people? Ortiz's eyes darted, glassy with fear. Not all, just some. Paid off. Closed their eyes. You think everyone who disappears from this town runs off? No, Hunter takes them. Always has. Isaac leaned in. Why you? Why Keller? Ortiz swallowed hard. We were never breaking out. They pulled us down there. Shackles gone before we even made the fence. We weren't running. We were being delivered. His voice cracked. We were meat. Cole slammed a fist against the desk. Jesus Christ. Isaac studied Ortiz. The man's terror was real, but fear had a way of bending truth. He remembered the smear on the mill wall, the words written in blood. Not them. If Keller and Ortiz weren't the true escapees, then someone else was. And someone had left that message. He rose, turning to Cole. Get the warden on the phone. Now! Warden Cray arrived just before dawn, face pale under the weak light. He listened as Cole recounted everything. The tunnel, the chamber, the laugh. His hands trembled as he lit a cigarette, smoke curling around his gaunt features. This is nonsense, Cray muttered. Stories told by desperate men. You're rattled. Both of you. Keller and Ortiz staged this, and you fell for it. Isaac slammed the ribbon on the table. The pink bow lay limp, streaked with dirt. Explain this. Cray froze. His cigarette trembled between his fingers. That, Isaac said, his voice low, didn't come from a prison uniform. The warden's silence was louder than any confession. His eyes flicked toward Ortiz, then away. Isaac stepped closer, his voice like steel. How long have you known? Cray exhaled smoke, slow and bitter. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Then make me. Isaac snapped. Cray's eyes hardened, the weariness replaced by something darker. There are things in these hills older than the prison. older than this town. Men like me, we don't bargain with them. We survive them. Sometimes that means giving them what they want. Cole's face went slack. You fed people to it. Cray didn't flinch. You think your county survives on law and order? No, it survives because Blackthorn stands. And Blackthorn stands because we keep Hunter sated. A few lost souls, the kind nobody misses. That's the bargain. Isaac felt the floor tilt beneath him. Rage surged, hot and blinding, but beneath it lay something worse. Recognition. He remembered the missing vagrant, the child, cases that never sat right. And now the truth. They hadn't been accidents. They'd been offerings. He stepped forward, fists clenched. You sick bastard. Cray's gaze met his. Steady. Don't pretend you're surprised, Ward. You've lived here long enough to feel it in the bones of this place. You just chose not to look. Before Isaac could answer, the lights flickered. Once, twice, then cut out entirely. Darkness swallowed the room. Rook erupted in snarls, teeth snapping at the air. Cole fumbled with his flashlight, beam darting wildly. Then came the sound, low, guttural, vibrating to the floorboards. A laugh, closer than before. Isaac's heart stopped. Hunter wasn't in the tunnels anymore. He was here. The windows rattled. The air grew heavy, thick with the stench of wet earth. Ortiz screamed, thrashing against his chair. Cole raised his gun, voice breaking. Where the hell is it? The laugh deepened, rolling like thunder. Then, glass shattered. Rook lunged, barking with savage fury. Isaac spun, flashlight beam slicing across the office, just in time to catch a glimpse. A figure, too tall, shoulders hunched, skin pale as clay, eyes gleaming like wet stone. A mouth stretched too wide, lined with teeth that didn't belong. Then it was gone, back into shadow. Cole fired wildly, bullets punching holes in plaster. Ortiz shrieked. Cray stayed unnervingly calm, watching the dark with something like reverence. Isaac grabbed Cole's arm, shoving the gun down. Stop. You'll just piss it off. The laugh echoed again, closer. And then it stopped. Silence. When the light sputtered back, Ortiz was gone. His chair sat empty, ropes cut clean through. Cole swore, face drained of blood. It took him. Christ almighty, it took him right in front of us. Cray exhaled smoke, serene. Then the balance is restored. Isaac turned on him, rage boiling. Balance? That thing's hunting in my town. My people. Cray's eyes glinted, and it always will. The sooner you accept that, the easier your nights will be. Isaac stared at him, and in that moment, something inside him hardened. He saw the truth clear as sunrise. The warden wasn't just complicit. He was devoted, a shepherd, guiding lambs to slaughter to keep his own skin intact. And Isaac knew what had to be done. The decision wasn't made with words. It was made with motion. Isaac drew, fast as instinct, and fired. The bullet caught Cray clean in the chest, his cigarette tumbling from limp fingers. He hit the floor with a grunt, eyes wide with shock. Cole staggered back. Ward, Jesus Christ, you just... Isaac holstered his gun, voice low. That wasn't justice. That was survival. Rook stood silent, hackles high, eyes still locked on the shadows where Hunter had vanished. For a long moment, the office was still. The hum of the lights returned. The normal world crept back in, almost convincing in its calm. But Isaac knew better. Hunter wasn't gone. He'd simply receded, watching, waiting. And the town, his town, was still his feeding ground. Days passed in uneasy quiet. The official report read that Keller and Ortiz had died in the escape attempt. No mention of tunnels. No mention of laughter in the dark. Cray's death was listed as heart failure. The prison carried on. But Isaac couldn't. Nights. He lay awake beside June, the silence between them thicker than ever. Rook slept at the foot of the bed, twitching in dreams, occasionally growling at shadows only he could see. One evening, Isaac drove to the ridge, staring down to town nestled in the valley. The sun bled red across the horizon, setting the mountains in silhouette. It should have been peaceful, but the weight of what lurked below pressed heavy in his chest. Hunter was still there, still hungry, and Isaac had a choice. He could do what Cray did, ignore it, feed it scraps, live in uneasy balance. Or he could face it, knowing full well it might cost him everything. Rook padded up beside him, pressing his head against Isaac's hand. The dog's steady presence grounded him, loyal, unyielding. Isaac whispered to the valley below. Words carried on the evening wind. I won't feed you, not one more soul. The mountains gave no answer, only the faint rustle of trees, like laughter carried on the breeze. Isaac tightened his grip on Rook's collar. He felt fear, yes, but also something stronger, resolve, because sometimes survival meant compromise, but other times survival meant standing between the monster and the lambs, no matter the cost. And Isaac Ward had just chosen his side.